Welcome to part three, dudes. Alright. Now, do you remember back when we were searching for that Abra that one time in Fire Red? I know there's probably a lot of you who, upon listening to this, have not yet viewed the Fire Red walkthrough, but it was a real pain looking for that Abra, and it just took forever. So, oh, sweet, there's Bellsprout already. Okay, that was quick. So what I was gonna say is, in this game, if you hold down the spacebar and you train, you can get a ton of experience in just a tiny little amount of time. And that's really good for what the I have five Pokeballs? Did I pick up another Pokeball, guys? I don't remember doing that. Well, whatever. Oh, by the way, did you see the shaking of that ball there? That's another cool thing I like about this game. Back in the old days, Pokeballs actually shook realistically. I guess, the perfect jiggle of that Pokeball, like, okay, it goes left, now it goes right, and then it stops in center. Left, right, center, left, right. It wasn't the best, but at least in the first games, the Pokemon shaking, it like just kind of jerked back and forth. Like it seemed realistic. It seemed like what a ball would do if there was something inside of it, like rolling it around and trying to burst out of it. But anyway, all right. So here's the trainer with Rocky. And yeah, Bellsprout won it. And this is, remember, those of you who did see the previous Let's Play of Fire Red, you remember how there was that girl who said, "Here, I'll trade you my Farfetch'd if you give me a Spearow." And then the Spearow's like a 10-minute walk away. I mean, 10-second walk away. It's the same thing all over again with Kyle here. He's like, "Yeah, I want your Bellsprout, which is a 10-second walk away from my house, and I'll trade you this Onix." And there's really no point in getting Rocky the Onix because you can get a really good Onix anyway, and Onix really isn't that good of a Pokemon to begin with. And considering that it's a traded Pokemon, you'll get experience faster for it, but this also means that after level 10, he'll stop obeying you. So, the real reason I'm hauling Rocky around, I think it's only because I'm going to use him as a decoy until I don't need him anymore. All right. Now, upcoming is Sprout Tower. And this is a place that you don't necessarily need to go to. I mean, you can get through this game without Flash. And this is what this tower gives you. It gives you the Flash HM. And it also gives you, let's see, is this, yep, this is a battle. It also gives you a chance when it's night out, I think, to capture ghost type Pokemon Ghastly. But the reason I like this place is it's because it gives you special attack experience. I think that's what Bellsprouts give you. They give you a ton of special attack, and Chikorita greatly benefits from that. I don't care so much about physical attack, just like with Bulbasaur, Ivysaur, and Venusaur. But and I don't consider Chikorita is not Bulbasaur. Okay. Um, I forget what the differences are, but one of them is, and this is another reason I like Chikorita. I'm not. Can Venusaur learn Earthquake? I can't remember. All I know is that Meganium can learn Earthquake. So that's another thing I like about it. You know, the Fire type will attack you, and if you live through it, and if you put up a light screen, chances are you will live through it. You can retaliate with an Earthquake attack, and that will do some major, major damage. And of course, if you're in double battles, it'll hit both your opponents if you happen to have a hovering ally next to you, and they won't be hurt. There we go. There's Reflect. This is such a good move. Let's see. Chikorita probably has the best good moves you can hope for the time you play in the game. Let's see. All these Sage dudes. Sage Edmund. These guys, I like how they have realistic names. And you do get realistic names as you go later on into the Pokemon series. Like they kind of learn from their mistakes. Like in the worst Pokemon game ever made, Gale of Darkness, you had guys named, for instance, that wizard guy, the wizard-looking guy who had the Pikachu. His name was E-Gun. Who names their kid E-Gun? And then there was this other guy, and I thought for a second that they were talking about some kind of gas station. I think his name was Exco or something, and he was a Cypher peon. Like, what were you guys thinking? They were just running out of names, so they went with whatever seemed, peachy. They were like, well, whatever, just throw a bunch of letters together and make sure that there's um, A-E-I-O-U in the name, or sometimes a Y. And like, well, that's good enough for me. Whatever. Okay, back to the game for a second. Watch that you don't run out of tackles. If you choose Chikorita, then chances are you are going to run out of tackles before. Let's see. I shouldn't be spacing through the guys what they say. I should allow them to say what they want to say, like after the battles and stuff. All right, it is my head that is bright. Okay, yeah, so he lost. He was talking about the HM flashback there. So let me see how much you trust your Pokemon. What I like about Kenta, you see him and he's got like this backwards hat on, and he seems like kind of a punk kid from the hood on first impression. Like you think you'd be the kind of kid who smokes marijuana with all the gangsters behind the school, and kind of is a wigga who plays basketball. I can't even say it right, but you get what I'm saying. Like, he just seems like sort of a punk kid. But in reality, the game is he is the most emphasized kind trainer of all the Pokemon trainers. Like nobody else emphasizes kindness as much as the people who talk to Kenta. So, and the way you can tell is in this game, Kamen, he is cruel to his Pokemon. The way you battle is far too harsh, the guy says. Pokemon are not tools of war. See, Kamen's got this Hitleristic superior attitude. Not even so much superior as kind of a Darwinist attitude, really. Like only the strong survive. See that? I only care that strong Pokemon can win. I really couldn't care less about weak Pokemon. And I actually kind of agree with that. Like I can't if a Pokemon is weak, I'm not going to spend my time training it up. I mean, I'll train it up if it's a weak Pokemon that will become a strong Pokemon. But I mean, that guy, a lot of emphasis is put in. For instance, later on in the game, he'll say, well, there's this injured Ampharos and it's probably going to die. But he's like, well, whatever, let it go. If it can't battle, then it's no good. Well, that's like saying, I'm trying to think of a good, why did I use that move? That's like saying, well, don't use this Dragonite because it's run out of power points, or say, don't use this Dragonite because all it knows is Wrap, Slam, Dragon Rage, whatever, all these weak moves. Well, so what? It's a Dragonite. Just teach it some good moves. Okay, now we're getting into the final Pokemon here. I better concentrate for a second because Chikorita is getting a bit low on health. I'm going to use Razor Leaf because even though it's not very effective, it gives you the same type attack bonus. And, oh cool, critical hit, alright. And I probably should have used Reflect back there, but considering Chikorita is at such a high level, you see that I'm not training any Pokemon right now except for Chikorita. Let's see. It's using Foresight. Yeah, it kind of wastes time using Foresight. There we go. So down it goes. So since I'm concentrating all the battle power into Chikorita, Chikorita is quickly becoming more capable than all the other Pokemon that it fights. All these trainers make errors of spreading out the experience of their Pokemon and giving it to like the first Pokemon they catch, like their Rattatas and their Sentrets and their Pidgeys. They're like, here, everybody can be level 7 or something like that. And then I'm thinking, come on, what is your problem? When are you ever going to use these in the long run? Just stick to the Pokemon that's going to stay in your team the whole time. Now, I'll get into greater teams and lesser teams later on because what I like to do is I make a lesser team of Pokemon that that is reliable throughout the entire region and will help you in, say, places like Battle Tower. But then there's this greater team of the absolute best Pokemon you can possibly have in the region. I'll get into it later because we're running low on time. But when we come back, in the next Let's Play walkthrough, I'll be facing Faulkner, the first gym leader. So until then, I'll catch you later, dudes.